I mean, I do think that films make an impact, even fiction. I know Nasir and I have had this conversation many a times before as well. Of course, it doesn't bring out any revolution. Is my mic on? It so subliminally goes into our subconscious that we are not even aware, the good and the bad. And that's why I think whatever you and I are, we are also a product of what we read, the cinema we watch, the people we meet. Everything gets stored, and as we grow older, I think if our responses change, it's because of all these influences. It's so intangible, it's almost difficult to measure, and yet we know that these things impact us. And I think the way to find a proof of it is that why do the orthodox, the conservatives, the right wings, why do they want to ban a film? If it's just a 2-hour film, they should just ignore it. आएगी चली जाएगी अगर उसका कोई असर ही नहीं है. But they understand the power of cinema. They understand that what it's trying to say, and that's why they want to ban a book. They want to, ban a film. They want to physically stop people from watching. And I personally have gone through it with fire, and then again water, where they attacked it because they do feel threatened. So I think cinema can be used for social change. It doesn't have to be lecturing, for sure, not preachy, not high-handed, not like, listen, I'm telling you something good. None of us want to be told that. So I think that kind of cinema is just boring, and that's what a lot of the FD films, like Nasir was saying, that has done probably more harm because it was too preachy in its content. And I think we have an unconscious bias against documentaries. We've always somewhere thought it's going to be boring and it's not going to be interesting, and fiction's going to spice it all up. But now that thing is changing, and documentaries have primarily suffered because of lack of distribution. I mean, it's almost like when you don't know something, you have a certain idea of it and you keep perpetuating that idea. Those of us who have actually seen interesting documentaries feel that it's a fascinating medium. Whether you're talking about Michael Moore's film, or you just reminded me that Mariam Chandy had done Rat Catcher, which was an amazing film that we all saw, world before her. There was a film called Fire in the Blood about the AIDS thing. I mean, living in Delhi, actually, I saw a lot more documentaries. It's a very powerful film. Patenting of life-saving films for HIV/AIDS, and the nexus between pharmaceutical companies and corporates. In fact, in times where investigative journalism is actually decreasing, where we are now talking about alternate facts and post-truth, some strange terms are coming up. We don't know what is real, what is not real. In fact, we need more investigative documentaries because they go deeper into it. It requires a lot of time. You're not going to waste so much of time to bring out falseness. It's actually a journey of finding the truth of something. So therefore, in our times, the times we are living in, when we don't know what is really true, what is false, are we reading the right things, are we watching the right channels, the importance of documentaries, in fact, has increased, because today we need more nuanced understanding of things. It's not about for and against, something that will deeply explore a particular subject. And India being such a wide, there are so many stories, such a huge country with so much diversity. Like this Khabar Lahriya, what you talked about, I remember releasing one of their reports, and it's a fantastic initiative where women who have not been trained in journalism are doing in UP, in a small little district. Women who have been housewives and just doing work at home have suddenly now gotten out. They are journalists, they are printing their own paper, they are going and distributing. So these kind of incredible stories actually would be very exciting, and we have to find ways to distribute. I was just in Calcutta yesterday. There's a documentary on Amartya Sen that has been made called An Argumentative Indian. And all of us know a certain side of Amartya Sen, but wouldn't we want to know more? What makes him the economist, the philosopher? What are his thoughts about different things? And Shumon Ghosh, the director, is struggling to find distribution in Delhi and Bombay. So I think together, if we create that kind of a climate where documentaries is seen differently and we find platforms to show it, would be great. I mean, there are hardly any that are actually released. So much power is needed today to release because the marketing platforms remain the same. So many of the documentaries that I saw in my growing up years were not for release. They were like in small private screenings in special auditoriums. So I think the media would play such a big role in creating that kind of an awareness. So thanks, Javed and Sophie.
If I may, but I think it's too much to hope for that someday documentaries will show in theatres and people
They
will
have
flock
begun to, though.
to see them. I don't know if that will happen. But I think the importance of documentaries is for the sake of posterity. You know, you may just find that, you know, the idealism with which you've gone into it being a little shaken by the fate that the documentaries meet. Because I think it is too much to hope for that people will actually buy tickets to go and see,
like in Calcutta, they are
en masse.
But
I don't think that will ever.
Okay, I understand. But if you look today in England, there are at least 15 or 20% cinema screens which actually keep screening documentaries, and people actually go and watch them. It's just involving the audience to.
Yeah, sure. I'm not knocking your effort. There are also in England about 500 theatres which are full every night. So I don't think we can quite equate, you know. But no, I'm just being the devil's advocate. That is all.
But on Netflix, I believe documentaries are in fact more sought after. Because people don't get to see documentaries on Netflix, I've been told that they are the most sought after are the documentaries.
Right.
So I think that is the effort, that how do we popularize?
Like Naseer, what you said, the mediums have changed and they are very radical, because today in my pocket, in my phone, and I can access because of like platforms like Netflix and Amazon. Theaters, distributors, nahi milenge, fair enough. But at least I have a medium today, sort of, I can have access to so many documentaries. I just subscribe. So hopefully, now what we need to do is like the media supporting and encouraging and
Audio.
Awaj. Okay. You also made, I think, 2 documentaries. Teenage parents. तो ये जो आपका ये side हमने देखा नहीं था. Recently I came to know कि आप, you had made kind of documentaries on that.
I started off with documentaries, actually.
Yeah.
I started off with documentaries. Did documentary. I worked as a production assistant or a producer for documentaries for Channel 4. So they were on various subjects, from Hasidic Jews and Black Muslims, the opposition unizing before the Rajiv Gandhi, before VP Singh came to power, on Kashmir, on AIDS, all kinds of stuff. And in America, I did 3 documentaries on hate crime against Asian Indians. First, Teenage Parents, which was about teenage parents. And also on a Pakistani taxi driver in New York City. So, and both 2 of these won some awards over there. So I started off with that. And I think it's, I'm going to come back to that now. As far as, because in today's times, there's so many stories you want to say, and you start censoring yourself. When the thought comes in, not happen, that will happen. Like we were just discussing, can we make a Parzania now? You know, it will, and I'd rather make documentaries there. Because I can be fearless, I can fearlessly say what I want to say, and I don't need it to get censored or any such thing to air it, which I always had a problem with. So I think it's great time. Also, people can make documentaries more easily now than before, is because of the digital world which we are in. You can tell your stories, so many stories, and we have platforms now. So it's a great initiative both of you have done, and I'm glad. Yeah.
Well, we hope these documentaries take, and I think media support is very important, that you all give that space and a little bit of time and encouragement to these filmmakers who spend sometimes years in researching, taking risks to their lives, going into territories which actually really big people have actually been threatened and sometimes been beaten up, some of the documentary filmmakers. But they have managed to bring about policy changes. There was a film called A Pestering Journey about the effect of pesticides on the farmers and the families. It was huge. It was totally devastating to see kids with these huge heads. It was called a cancer train. Every day it's to come. And that actually brought about some changes in quality control of pesticides, GMOs, etc. So I think this is a good movement we are just catalysts, and I hope that y'all can be part of it too. And if y'all have anything to ask any of these revered, wonderful guests of ours, I'll open it to you guys for a bit, and then